In this video, I want to show you how powerful and easy tweens can be for adding polish to your game. You can use them to animate both your UI elements and objects in your game. I have a simple Area 2D scene with a block for a sprite. Upon clicking on the Area 2D, we trigger the event. Let's start with a very basic example. We're creating a simple tween animation that moves an object when clicked. First, we declare a tween variable at the class level so we can reference it throughout our script. When the Area 2D is clicked, we create a new tween with createTween method. We calculate a new position that's 25 pixels to the right and 25 pixels up from our current global position. And then we use the tween property method to smoothly animate our position to this new location over the course of 1 second. The beauty of tweens is how they handle all the interpolation for us. We just specify the item, the endpoint, and the duration, and all the in-between frames to create smooth motions are handled automatically. This creates that satisfying smooth movement effect. Now let's chain multiple tween actions together. This will first move the sprite 25 pixels to the right and 25 pixels up. It'll then scale it up, and finally, it'll rotate it 180 degrees, each action happening one after another. What if we want some actions to happen simultaneously? For this, we can use parallel tweens. Let's run the same tweens as before, but this time we're going to run them in parallel. To do this, we simply call the setParallel method on our tween. Then we can call the same tween property methods as before. For this parallel example, I've also changed the duration to be the same for all three property calls. As you can see, the ability to run tweens in sequence or in parallel offers tremendous flexibility. Let's make our animations feel more natural with easing and transition methods. We can set these for the entire tween or set them individually on each property. Let's set an easing and transition type for the entire tween and run them in parallel. I went with an ease out and a transition type of trans bounce. When we run this, you can see the property move, scale, and rotate smoothly with a nice bounce effect. Now let's try running them in sequence with a different transition type on the scale and rotate. While still smooth, you can see how we can drastically change the feel of the block. I recommend experimenting with different combinations to find what works best for your game's feel. I will leave a link in the description to the docs that shows you all the options for easing and transitions. We can respond to tween events using callbacks. In this example, we are moving the position of the block. Then we are creating a callback that will be called after a 1 second delay. In our callback function, we are changing the block to red. We are then repeating this to change the block blue. And lastly, we create an anonymous function as a callback. This allows us to execute any custom code we want, not just calling existing functions. Callbacks are extremely useful for playing sound effects at specific points in an animation, spawning particles or other effects, or chaining complex sequences of events together. Now let's explore how to make our tweens even more powerful by using signals and loops. This combination allows us to create repeating animations and respond to specific events during the animation process. In this example, we'll create a simple back and forth animation that repeats 3 times, and we'll track each step of the process using signals. When we run this, our block will move right and then back to its starting position, and it will repeat this entire sequence 3 times. But what if we want to know when specific events happen during our animation? That's where signals come in. Tweens emit several useful signals that we can connect to. The step finish signal is emitted after each individual tween property completes. The parameter gives us the index of the step that just finished. The loop finish signal tells us when a full loop cycle has completed. The parameter tells us which loop number just finished. And finally, the finish signal fires when the entire tween animation, including all loops, has completed. These signals are incredibly useful for triggering events at specific points in your animation. For example, you might want to play a sound effect every time the object reaches its rightmost position, or spawn particle effects when an entire animation finishes. One thing to note is you can create infinite loops by not passing anything to the setLoops method. And you can stop the tween manually just by calling tween.kill. The last thing I want to show you is a practical example of using tweens in your game. In a previous video, I demonstrated a simple way to create hidden areas. Let's add some polish to that concept by using tweens to gradually reveal the hidden area. One thing to note here is I also use an infinite loop to make the key move up and down. You could also use the animation player to achieve this effect, but for the sake of this video, I thought I would show you this method. Well, I suppose.